Hey, Dawn, Rob, Diane, Ivan, welcome to the show. I started a couple minutes early. Yeah, we got a spicy week of big earnings. There's already some fireworks going on here. We've got to talk about. Talked about Snapchat having a pretty marginal looking chart, even though some people thought it might go up. Well, looks like chart kind of dictated that it might be flushing the toilet. They kind of removed their guidance. Seeing SMCI reporting some just removing their guidance and stuff, looking pretty bad on their chart, stepping down. And we've still got Microsoft and Meta coming up, Apple and Amazon coming up. We've got Visa out today. Hey, Sergio. We've got, I mean, it's gonna be wild here. We've got Visa, Starbucks, Snap, First Solar, PPG, Booking.com, or Booking Holdings, Corvo, not Quovero, but Quorovo, whatever. One, OKE, Arch, Terra. In the morning, we got Humana, Caterpillar, Vulcan Materials, Western Digital, Generac, International Paper, Gene DX, ADP, Hess, GE Healthcare. Tomorrow's where I guess after the close tomorrow, Microsoft, Meta, Hood, Qualcomm, probably pretty spicy there. Got some Pilgrim's Pride, food. Got Eli Lilly for Thursday. We've got Amazon and Apple. Come with a riot there on Thursday after the close. Airbnb, Reddit. It's gonna be a fun week, I think. Maybe not fun if you bet wrong, but I like the outlook. I like it when things actually are moving, actually are happening, something to actually talk about. It drives me a little nutty when everything's boring. It just drives me nutty. Anyway, hey Kimberly, my favorite subscriber. We got Sledge and Joy, Pauline, Diane, Mary, Pat. Good to see everybody. Kimberly, did you have a ride? Was Karen going to take you over to the restaurant? Anyway, we didn't hash that out earlier. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them, because you may lose money doing this thing we do called trading. So, there's substantial risk of loss. I make predictions. Maybe they come true, maybe they don't. It's kind of the way this works. And if, in fact, it didn't work out, you might lose your money. You want somebody to tell you what to do. It's not what I'm here to do. And so, if you need it, you got to find somebody you trust. All right, cool. Glad you have a ride, because I was just planning on going straight over there. So, alrighty. Moving on. Check it out. Snap. Getting snapped. Look at that. Chow right back down. It's like a three-wave up. Trend is down. Watch out for breaking below the 76. This pattern shows up over and over. If we break down below here, below that, it's funny enough, that low just happens to be the indicator we're going on down. A little confused here. It says the earnings are coming up on the 6th, but they have breaking news about the big earnings miss. So they were broken news, but there you go. Forecast, blah, blah, blah. So they missed. If you're counting on the earnings being here, they reported them today. Lost $6 already. Guess where I thought we'd been heading? Probably gonna take it back here. So we had this big bubble pattern. It doesn't look very bubbly on this chart, but I mean, if you go like this, look at that. Turn it off of log mode. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. Looks like we can come back right down here. Somewhere around 11, 12, maybe 15. Just a little bit lower than we already did. That's what I expect. When you log mode it, it doesn't look nearly as bad. But still probably coming back down in this area. Other stuff like Visa. Not bad. Popping up. 376. That'll probably be on the scanner today as a valid entry. Got the nice pop on earnings. So up and away, right? Let's see. Pop up B. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. I mean, it depends on what part of Knoxville you're walking in, whether you're walking on the Greenway or not, babe. Oh, look at that. Somebody give you a llama. All right. We talked about Starbucks, books. Not really moving. That's good for my long. I'd like to see it up here, though. I mean, not good for my long that we're underneath the strike, but I mean, maybe I should have bailed on the way down. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have bought back in, though. It's worth a shot. FSLR. Let's see how we got cooking. And down. I think I said that this morning. Looked like it'd probably be going down. PPG. Nice little pop. Still got the roadmap line resistance up ahead. Let's see. QRVO. Oh, QRVO. Yeah. Still got the roadmap resistance. And OKE. Down on that one. Let's see. ACGL. Not, I mean, it's got some resistance up to the roadmap line. And then TTI. And some Microsoft, MSFT. Got the resistance. We kind of talked about that this morning. We talked about all of these this morning. Apple, resistance. Amazon, resistance. This one might break lower, although strongly denying that they ever plan to put any information about tariffs on their website. See, Meta hanging. This is the lowest low, so it's not really, it's just one move up so far. Probably get a retrace before we figure out what we're doing here. On Meta. It may come back to here. So Meta may retrace on earnings. I mean, it could just pop before it does a retrace. Could just be up here and then retrace. Microsoft looks like we're potentially done on the downside. A break up through 420 sets us up for 490. And then Apple, strong resistance right there. If we break through, we're set up for 276. Blah, blah, blah. And then Amazon, resistance right here. Get above that 209, 256 upside. Yeah. I guess for other stuff in the morning, Caterpillar. What the heck? What happened to that chart? Apparently it's not loading. It's weird. It's been a data outage. VMC. Got the resistance right there. WDC, we talked about being in a wedge. Generac. Yeah, I don't know. This is looking like a bubble that might pop on down. IP, gotta go with international paper. Not the strongest chart. ADP. So we got kind of a three-wave retrace in place. Resistance right here. We get through that 330 upside. Not bad. Hey. Oil and gas just not super strong. It's a lot of chop on Hess. And then GE Healthcare. And that chart doesn't like particularly scream at me that we're going higher. Looks like we might make a new low on that one. And then GE Veranova. Yeah, that looks like we might go higher. And then just regular GE. That's actually pushing on up. There's the high, there's the low. 222 is the upside right there. So I need to reload this. What's going on here? There we go. Load the red list. All right. So that's kind of like what we got cooking. And is the bear market over? Let's talk about it. It's kind of a funny conversation. Here's the danger zone. We've been working on coming up here for a couple weeks. I've had that on the chart for a couple weeks. So I've been talking about what we need to see. And there's kind of three possible things we're about to do. I mean, really there's infinite, but three main, more likely possibilities. The lowest probabilities, we just ripped right through here. And then retrace and keep going. That's probably the lowest possibility. Like, I give that maybe a 5% chance of happening. Probably more like 95% chance we're going to bounce off of this zone in here and do a retrace. Now, there's two different distinct possibilities for the retrace, and those kind of set the stage for what comes next. So zooming out just a little bit, you'll notice I have an arrow higher and an arrow much lower. So the tell, when we retrace out of this area, it's a big fat box. There's not really, can't really make it a lot smaller. Right in the bottom area of it, the 618 is right there. We could turn down off that 618 area right at 56.10. That could be it. Now the roadmap line, my favorite indicator, right above that. It'd be great to hit them both. And then the reaction, either we're going to do a three-wave down retrace, in which case that is the likelihood going higher. Now, if we do a five-wave reaction that doesn't overlap between the first drop and that fourth retrace right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we do that, then we do a three-wave up. This is our likely path for the next couple of years. Probably not coming back for a while. Like maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years. That's a bummer. Even if we do this, we're probably going to eventually do this. So that's the downside here of everything I'm talking about is we could top out up here, and then we're probably still going to do this. So I see no case where we just go on up. I've been saying for a long time, below 4 before we go above 7. That's how it goes. That's the cookie crumbles. Below 4 before we go above 7. And below 4 can take us down to as low as like 1,500. Because when you look at where we bottomed out years and years ago, we need to go revisit this area down here. Right down in here. At some point, we need to come down here before we can go higher again. That's the bottom line. That's what we got. That's what we're staring down. So, I mean, it's going to be years of going. We'll have years of up and years of down. I mean, it's just like this one right here. We're going to do this on a bigger scale. That was 14 years of going nowhere. From the time we started here to the time we broke out right over here. It's like 14 years. This will probably be a longer thing before we can come back up. Might last 20 to 30 years. Maybe twice as long. That's what we're looking at. So why should anybody go long? Well, how long do you plan on living? That's, I mean, in between, like, even in here, there's stuff that goes up and down. I mean, we're talking about the trend, but there's months of going up, several months, and down and up and down and up and down. And, you know, we could go up to 6,600 before we start on this bigger down. So it's all about your time frame. If you just want to buy something and walk away for the next 10 years, you might be in a world of hurt. If you're going to actively manage it, I mean, right here, check it out. This is my all-time history here. If you look at the month, I just loaded this up, just started using this account again. I hadn't really traded it since 2021 and didn't have any money in it. $500, 100% wins. That's pretty good. You can see my rating for the last month, for the last 3 months, and for the last year. All profitable. You got the last 3 months, last year. That's all the trades. Like, I only have like a week's worth of trades. So can you make money? Yeah. And I'm going to keep showing this publicly. If you want to follow along, right here, I'll post the link in the chat. As the trades are closed and verified by KInfo, they get updated. I have some more coming out. Nothing closed today. I'm betting some stuff closes tomorrow. Kraft Heinz was really close to closing today. That may close out tomorrow. Maybe Thursday, though. So, I mean, the plan there is to take this number. Here's the plan. If you haven't been here before, you haven't heard me talk about this. This number right here, that's only $500 right now. The goal is to get that to $50,000 per month for 6 months in a row. And when I get to there, I'll consider my goal met. But I plan on building this into a reliable income stream for years. And you may be like, well, why don't you have that right now? That goes into a bigger conversation. The fact that I didn't grow up with money. So my whole goal in trading has been, or working in trading, has been to pump my money into IRAs. And that's where all my money kind of sits. I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in IRAs. I have very little money in taxable trading accounts. This is a taxable trading account that I'm building up to make reliable income. The hard knocks of being a guru, some months are good, some months are bad. Sometimes people buy stuff from you, sometimes they don't. Last year I had a good year. This year having a incredibly horrible year being a guru. Reminds me of the kind of I guess the second half of the first year I was a guru. I've only been doing this since 2021. Not been a lifetime guru. Been trading since I was like in 8th grade, or no, 3rd grade. I was 8 years old. 3rd grade. Started paper trading in 3rd grade and opened a real money account and been trading in IRAs since I turned 18. And some of my best trades have taken a $500 account with one contribution ever and turned it into $26,000. And it takes a lot of effort. Then in COVID, I caught that. I was in the right place, right time, perfectly. Made $1.4 million out of 200, started with about $250,000 in my family's accounts. Turned it into about $1.4 million verifiable. And that was a wild ride. And that got the publisher's attention, and they said, hey, you want to be a guru? You want to teach people what you're doing? I was like, sure. And at that time, I didn't know how to do this YouTube thing. I didn't know how to show people how to make money. I didn't know how to teach anybody, certainly. Not really. I mean, I had a few people that followed me, and, we talked about what trades I was doing. But so right in here, I became a guru. We got this little spike, and then we got this massive crunch, and people got a little bit sour on JT. I do appreciate everybody that's been with me all the way along. And now here we are again, staring down a bigger possible correction. And yeah, Sledge, man, I love it. 13 out of 13. I mean, I build cool stuff for traders because I'm a trader. Like that's what I've been doing like for a long time. I've been a trader. I built the advantage for you all, since I've been a guru and I've made some money doing guru stuff and haven't had to work my butt off trading as much and doing other things. It's freed me up capital wise to be able to invest in creating more cool freaking stuff. So, yeah, I'm not really here sitting here. Notice I don't post videos hyping stuff up. I'm not like all the other YouTubers like, hey, pay attention to this cool indicator, blah, blah, blah. In fact, I'll tear down indicators because it's all bullshit. And I get on here and kind of do like what Jim Cramer does and go through trading and opportunities, because that's kind of more what I want to be like Jim Cramer, just on YouTube, and, actually help people make money. That's what I mean, if you actually go click the button to sign up for K-Info, you can actually see all my trades because they're all public. You have to log in to see them, but I don't hide them. And, some people on K-Info, like if you go to the leaderboard, you go on here, like I think this guy, like you can't even see the ticker. Like he didn't let you see jack squat about it. So I'll be on the leaderboard soon. I don't have enough trades to be on the leaderboard. I think the requirement is something like 10 trades. I've got 6. No, I got 7. We got 7 closed trades. So 3 more, which I've got 6 open. No, 7 open. I got 7 open. So should get 5 more closed this week. Yeah. So yeah, the team has been bugging the crap out of me to sell something new. In fact, the president came and talked to me. He's like, we want to wind down some of your stuff and make some new stuff so we can actually start selling some more. I'm like, I don't like it. It's not fun. Like, I just like trading. I like trading. I don't know about y'all, but that's. So I'm gonna build this into $50,000. You're welcome to come join along in the journey. If you want all the trades and to see every nitty gritty detail what I do, the only place I offer that right now is my Term Market Trading Lab group. And that does cost money. Sorry. But I spend a lot of time and effort. And Sergio, Term Market Trading Lab member. Sledge, Term Market Trading Lab member. Nancy, Term Market Trading Lab member. I'm sure most of the people in here. I mean, so anybody that's new and wondering about me and my honesty, I'm a scout, Eagle Scout. Been an Eagle Scout since '97. Basically the same time I've been real money trading. I'm just here to help other people. And that's trying to cut out some of the bull crap. So trying to be a voice of reason. I'm not trying to hype it. This is a danger zone. I'm warning you because there's a high likelihood we either do a 3-wave retrace or a 5-wave retrace. And if we do the 5, we're probably set for a longer term down. And which one do I expect? I expect this one. And I expect us to go to new highs. That's what I expect. That's my expectation. We get a 3-wave retrace off of the danger zone, and then we go on to new highs. That's the way I'm positioned. I am long AF. It's going to hurt like, it's going to really hurt if I have to close everything, eat some losses, sit on a lot of crypto, sitting, between my personal accounts, Kimberly's personal account for retirement, and my parents' personal accounts for retirement. I've got almost probably between $150,000 and $200,000 worth of crypto tied up in those accounts, and I'm actually in the stock market in crypto, and then another big chunk of it's tied up in Tesla, and then some various other stuff. Been switching everybody over to the new, I've been doing the same type of trade for years that I'm doing right here. I've been doing that for my parents. I've been doing it for Kimberly. I've been doing it for me. I just don't share them because it's in retirement accounts. But this is starting to do it public and share the trades I'm doing. So if you want to see them, there's target put option right there. 96% gain. And then it blurs it out because I'm not logged in. Anyway, the other cool thing I was going to show, it's just kind of crazy. I pull this up every now and then. Let me see if I can find it. This thing right here. This was made in 1875. This freaking blows my mind. Actually, I'm gonna copy this. Let's put it over where we can draw on it. Put this back. Look at this crazy. 1875. This guy drew it and signed it right here. Puts these years. Look at these years. Are some of these numbers familiar for big market events? Look at this one coming up. And then these, that was another market event. There's that one lined up both ways. Extra dangerous. Kicked off a big long-term correction. You know what also lines up? Right here. This one may be a big long-term correction that starts right here. So we may get a little pullback that starts in 26. This is why I think we're going higher. I think we're going to go higher to the end of the year. And then next year we start on this. Might bottom out in 2032, start the bigger downturn, 2034, 2035, into 2039, come back up a little bit, 2043, and then meet the ultimate bottom probably maybe out in 2050. So we could be in for a big correction that starts in 2026 and doesn't wrap up for 25 years. That would be kind of nasty. And we may come up and make a lower high, and we may bottom out in 2032, come up, make a lower high. And funny enough, this kind of loosely correlates with the Bitcoin cycle, kind of, sort of. Anyway. There you go. And you can see it repeats. 18, 20, 16, 18, 20, 16, 18, 20, 16, 18, 20, 16. That's those top numbers. And then these bottom ones go 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. And these are, 7, 11, 9, 7, 11, 9, 7, 11, 9, 7, 11. It's just a weird, these guys did this in the 1800s. So there's always been this cycle. And it kind of goes like this. It's kind of wild how it lines up. And then it fits with my timeline. This is the scariest part to me. So these patterns are inherent in humans right there. Anyway, All I can do is warn you. And yeah, sometimes I get lucky on these things. So jumping in, looking at the market here. S&P, we're in the danger zone. We're just sitting right below it. I've actually got a little higher on the futures chart than on the cash chart. Got NQ, same danger zone. That also kind of lines up with where we topped out back here too. Very, very clear where we topped out in July here. Nasdaq has a bigger zone because we topped out higher. So we could push this a little higher before we turn down. So 3 waves down, probably going to new highs. 5 waves down, probably going to flush the toilet. Russell here, big major resistance right up here. I don't think we're getting up through it. Probably to color it danger zone color. Danger zone there too. Oil, looky, looky, looky. We're coming down pretty quick. That was down, down, down all day. Support right there. If we get through it, we're coming on down to the low 50s. And like I've said a few times, if we break out below 50 into the 48 area, that might kick off a hot war in the Middle East. Why would that happen? You need higher prices on oil. Brent, same kind of pattern. Look for that 618 retrace. If it holds, potential to bounce. If we break through it, potential to come down here in the low 50s. Right down here. European oil is Brent. West Texas Intermediate is CL. Gasoline futures in the United States, glancing off of the roadmap line. I would expect a 618 retrace. If we hold it, going higher. If we fold it, extension lower. Heating oil, which is diesel fuel, that's looking like 5 down. This is more than likely going lower low. Somewhere down here. Natural gas. Ooh. Came up a little shy of the target. Bounced back to the roadmap line. If we can hold it, I do expect to at least tag that 275. If we can stick the breakout here, we may do that, retrace, and move on up. Retest the bigger 618, which would come in right in there, right around $4. Right in that consolidation. There's the one right there. It's not magic, it's just math. Gold, I've been talking about this correction for a few days now. Just hovering, but we're probably going to make an extension down here around somewhere in 31, 3200. Rally back up to that 618 of the first drop here, which should come in right around 3300, 3350. And then we'll probably do a bigger final flush out. What it looks like, it doesn't have to do that, of course. It could do something else, but that's the pattern that we're likely to do for the next few months on gold. Silver, different story. Possibly we bottomed here, but it has been unable to break through that 786. Essentially like the danger zone on the S&P. We're sitting in it. This could make an extension on lower. That would be a 1, 2, 3, and then we do a 4, and we'd have a 5 before we finished up this correction. Now, I'm not sure. It doesn't have to go any lower than we've already gone. This could be the bottom. This could be the first move up. We could retrace, hold in this vicinity, and move on up. This move up has not been clear. Can silver break out and run while gold corrects? I don't know. I don't think it can. Some people say it doesn't matter. They're independent charts. When you look at this, silver has been way behind. Gold hanging out up here. Silver hanging out down here. Silver has a giant opportunity to catch up to some crazy numbers. Will it do it? I don't know. But usually we see silver outperform in the last leg of the breakout. We see it sit over here, sit over here, sit over here. See that breakout in 2011 there. Go back and look at the gold charts. You can see we didn't do that crazy big move late on gold. And we just ground up, ground up, ground up, ground up, ground up. But silver did that crazy big exponential move. Gold topped out of the 1618. Look at silver. Last time we did a crazy. Oh, that was the wrong one. No, that was the wrong one. This big high, right back here. This big low, right back here. And we came up shy, even though we did a big move up. So we haven't been able to break up and make new highs on silver. Came up shy, breaking out. So even if we came up shy, breaking out, we get that 45. And we'll see. Did a crazy move though. Copper. Dr. Copper, not really doing anything. Just sitting, consolidating. Just hanging. This looks like a first move down and a retrace, and we may do that. Cautious. Bitcoin has moved up and is sitting on the 618. We're just sitting here, right in the danger zone. We might retrace back to the roadmap line. We might have to do that before we can bounce higher. We could push on higher and retest there's major resistance right around the 100,000 area. Could retest that, where all those highs kind of came across there. 100, 102, somewhere right in there. Could retest that before we get the bigger retrace. A bigger retrace, highly likely, that sets us up to go much higher. My big upside target, still hanging out up here, 150, 170, sometime by like mid-October. That's my timeline. I don't expect us to go on up into the 200,000s, but low 200s, even 300,000, possible. Not very likely. It's possible. When we look at the move right here, that 168, 170,000 area, I didn't get my fibs perfectly. Right in there is the highest likelihood spot. Why the 1618? Check it out right here. That high, this low. We came up, stopped at the 1618. Every halving event before this, we stopped at we hit the 1618. So this would be the first halving event we don't hit the 1618 if we don't hit it. I think it's highly likely we come on up here and hit it. Highly likely. It's just math. Ethereum, on the other hand, looks pretty bad. We are not doing very bullish stuff on Ethereum. Can't even break back above this consolidation we had right here. Been unable to get through that. Unable to even test into it. That's a warning sign. The next pullback in Bitcoin could push this down below 1,000. Very dangerous. All right. Why has it been disappointing? This Bitcoin event's been disappointing. I think it's been pretty exciting. We're up 500% off the lows. Went from 15,000 to 108,000 and pulled back 30%. It's pretty much everything I said was going to happen. I'm always more optimistic. 30%. We get 30% pullbacks every single halving event. Happened multiple times back here. I mean, maybe you weren't in it. Maybe you didn't trade it. Maybe you weren't anticipating 30% pullbacks. That's what happens multiple times. This one was a big one. 54%, and then we went on back to the high. So, got to be careful. It's a volatile asset. Once we top out, though, it's going to do a 70 to 80% pullback. So once we get up here, it's likely to come back down to somewhere in this neighborhood. Right there. If you buy Bitcoin for your KInfo account, won't that get you to your 50K target before end of year? It's 50K a month, not just 50K. It's 50K a month, every month for 6 months. If I just buy Bitcoin, that's one pop. Then how do I keep making money? It's not reliable, right? Can't catch a big move on Bitcoin all the time. So that's not the way I'm doing it. I'm building a reliable income stream. Doing something different. 100% win rate, that's hard to beat. Hard to beat. Anyway. All right. Stuck, but hopefully, I mean, I give it a 80, so realistic 85% chance that we go on up and hit the 1618. But that leaves a 15% chance that this thing fails and crushes all our hopes and dreams. That's the over-under. All right, we're to that point in the show where we can take requests for at least 30 minutes. And so a couple rules on that. 1 ticker per person per request. I'm going to give channel members the priority. So if your name's in green, you get priority. And that means you pay a fee to the channel and support me and my family. And, you know, my given back is that you get priority access. So I'll do those for channel members. Once I get to the bottom of the channel members and they're not hitting me anymore, then we'll come back and hit the rest of the people. So open trades, not really fair game. If I've given advice on a ticker in a subscription service, I may give limited viewpoint on that ticker, just so you know. And if we've already covered them in the early part of the show, I'll probably skip it. If you got a question about a ticker, please use complete sentences. And now that we've got a few tickers, I'll start at it here. So DUK, Duke Energy, hit the target, retraced. That's what we expect to happen. So we've pulled up and we're consolidating. 126 is the next upside, but we're kind of holding in this resistance zone. It may retrace back to the roadmap line again before we can come up. I would give this a likelihood to go higher. Energy hasn't been super strong right now, so I'd be cautious. It's not been a big trender historically. BTBT, it's one of my open trades. Maybe up to the roadmap line. That'd be the next resistance right here. Bigger picture. The jump up. Oh, that's cool. Bigger picture. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to hide the one above that. Bigger picture. We've got to move up. Maybe in 5 waves. Maybe not. It's kind of gotten a little choppy here in the end. Maybe it's a diagonal of some sort. Maybe that was 5 up. Maybe this is the 1, 2, 1. But that went below that, so it can't be a 1, 2. That can be a 3 wave down. Possibly. Is that a 3-wave retrace off of that 5? I don't know. Like, this is where it gets muddy. So we've got to move up. We've got to retrace to a 618. That could set it up before I move like this. Possibly. But it could meet ultimate failure and just bust down. So there you go. That's BTBT for you. Jumped onto a clean chart. So intermediate, short term, Resistance right there. Roadmap line on the daily chart. PLTR. Yeah, it looks like we're going on up to the target. 137. Busted through. Like it. 137. Next up, Pepsi. Oof. Ouch. So that touched the 618. We had this low back here during COVID. We've got this high right here from 2023. We just hit the 618 retrace. If we can hold that, break through the roadmap line, sets the upside to much higher levels, much higher than I've got drawn on here. Talking about something like something crazy. Something like that. But you have to break through that roadmap line resistance there. So if you bought down, I'd stop out here below 118. If we get above here, might do that before we move on up. Probably get a 1.1448 and retrace. We push on up like that. That'd be my guess if we're going to do the upside. Something like that. ACHR. Resistance right there at the 970 area. Well, refine it just slightly. Right there. Right there to right there. That's the danger zone, if you will. All that consolidation is. Happened even before we topped out. So it could still pop up in here and reject. If we get above that, probably going on up. 15 area. That's Archer for you. Apple already did. FAS. Resistance right there. Roadmap line and 618. Big 3 wave. There's the resistance right there. Hood. Coming up into. We're just grinding on that. And didn't get it close above it yet. Maybe the day that we're in, I don't know. It may not kick off because of how many candles it took to do that. Potential for this going up to 74 or 60. Potential. And it may do another retrace before we do that. We're in this danger zone in the market, so don't dismiss that. That 90% of stuff usually goes over. 85 to 90% of stuff goes with the market every day. So when the market's green, we get a lot of green. When the market's red, we get a lot of red because that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. When you look at the morning list, the gainers that were gainers in the pre-market mostly stayed gainers all day. Just one exception for today. And most of the decliners, most of the stuff that was down $2 or more in the pre-market, stayed decliners. Most of the stuff that had setups for today, most of it actually went on higher. Just a couple exceptions. And it's funny, 75% and then 25% fail. You got a few failures in here. Those didn't necessarily reach the stop out, but they just aren't doing the bullish thing. Most of the market was up, and that's how we kind of had the day. It always fascinates me the next morning when I'm looking at the gainers, how many gainers were green and how many of the decliners were still red by the end of the day. Very rarely does it get, does the gainers turn a lot of red and the decliners turn a lot of green. It's just very rare that occurs. So anyway, hood likely to go higher, but if the market turns sour, S&P gets that big pullback, this will probably pull back too. Anything that's set up to go higher will probably get a pullback. It takes a rare exception for a stock to buck the market trend. Now, an exception here though, like you look at the McDonald's here, it did pull back, but this hasn't been the big damage that we've seen like on Apple. Apple's been down, down, down. Like this topped out back here in December. Like you say, oh, it's getting hit by tariffs. Why did it start? There was no tariff anything back here in December. It doesn't. The tariff narrative doesn't make sense. Same with Amazon. Like starting in February. Oh, it was the announcement of tariffs. Okay, maybe. Google. What are they? How are they affected by tariffs? Not really. Not that much. And it's just economic slowdown. And Microsoft, we topped out back here, early December. Been down, down, down. So tariff doesn't really make sense on big tech. Not really. We were overextended to the upside. That's what makes sense. So MNST sitting here right below the breakout on Monster. Target's right up there at 30 or 63, 62, 63, 62, 63, 62. And roll back up. I skipped the chat back down to the bottom. ADSK. Resistance at the roadmap line, then the 618, then this consolidation up here. Then once we're through all those levels of resistance, 341 on the target. And DG. This is looking pretty good. Like that's all the sort of stuff we wanted to see. It broke through the roadmap line, came back and back tested it, moving up. We get the next extension, probably retrace again, and we've got resistance at that gap fill, and then we've got resistance up here. But it's doing like this is set up to go like this was a potential big bounce. The big upside target. Potentially way up here. You're like, well, I thought you said the market was going to go down. Well, this may buck the market. Like it has one of the few charts that has a bigger upside potential. It may not get this high. It may only go back to all-time, may make a nominal higher high at 300 and then give up. It's possible. Then fall victim to the bigger downtrend. Roblox. RB, RK, oh, Rocket Lab, Roblox, Rocket Lab, RKLB. There's the high, there's the low, here's the 618. If we stop right in here, could come down here. If we can break through, upside right there. Limited upside for a bigger downside potential. And just double checking on the downside potential. This high, this low, this high. Yep. It's in the right spot. So if we break down, probably get a move down here. If we can bust up through, there's your upside. Right like that for Rocket Lab. AMD. Grinding it. Just sitting right there. Grinding, grinding, grinding. That's one move up, a retrace, and back to the first move up. I am not sold yet. This has earnings coming up. I'm not touching it before earnings. If it rallies up to here by earnings, we're probably going to do a retrace. If we retrace now, if that was a 1, 2, and we get a third move down right in here, it'll probably pop on earnings. If we just stay right where we are till earnings, it's a coin flip. I wouldn't bet on that one either way. Z-Lab is got the first move down, the retrace, and this next move down would put us right in the target. I thought we were going to top out a little bit higher, but We're in the ballpark, and then we're going to do retrace. We got almost as deep as I thought we would. So this is it's kind of a, like, was that the first move down? This is the retrace, and that's the next move down. I don't know. Don't have any crystal ball. If we start breaking above 36, probably going on higher, maybe to 44. If we start breaking down below 29, probably coming down here to 21. That's about all the clarity I've got like that. That's a messy, a little bit messy chart right now for Z-Lab. AFL. That's really nice. So it did a 3-wave type move. First move down, proportional to the next, to that last move down. And upside 118, and we're right at, so it has some resistance that it built up all the way across there. See that high, this little consolidation, that little consolidation, this little consolidation. So that's a, if we get above that one, probably 112, and we don't just knee-jerk reaction again, probably set up for move on up to 118, which is not huge upside, but that's Affleck for you. And looking for that to come up to the roadmap line. I keep selling puts right down here. I keep selling puts right at the lows. I don't think it's going much lower. The big 618 is right there at 74 of that big move up from back here in 2018 to that high right here in 2024. That big 618, 74. I don't really expect it to go below that, so do expect it to bounce off of that, which potentially sets us up for a bigger move up here. Crazy big highs. And these drawings are all on the chart already, so like this is something I've already talked about. Yeah, we didn't hold on to that last potential bounce there, so went on and made a lower low. Look for this to come back up though. So there is significant resistance at that gap down that we haven't been able to clear yet. So if we can come up through, back test it, and get going on the upside. Fastenal. 84 upside target, but that looks like a really strong resistance right there. We couldn't bust through. Pulled down, shot back up, and just stopped. This may need to come back down before we can pop up here. That's starting to be a little choppy. That housing, these guys supply fasteners for building stuff. Building, not exactly the strongest right now. Nail getting a hit. DHI getting hit. Toll Brothers getting hit. A lot of the same kind of charts here for builders. So fast. That's a really good looking chart compared to so many others in this space. And they're going to do a split. So they're going to put the, I don't know if that's a good choice, but we'll see. Splits haven't been rewarded very kindly lately, so that may get a bigger pullback. Tesla resistance is where we closed today. We closed right back on the daily roadmap line. Wrong number, man. I know you're watching this later. If you're not here right now, I didn't see your name. That's a key spot. If we get through it, 335, then we'll probably come back, retest it before we can go higher. With Cybercab, Robotaxi, whichever way they're calling it, when that hits the streets in June, it's going to be a different ball game. not just a car company when they start doing robo-taxi rides or cybercab rides or whatever they're going to call it, whichever is which. You know, the castings in Texas have RT written on them, which would mean robo-taxi, and that's the car that they're producing, but they keep calling that the cybercab. So, but you know, is the cybercab going to be the software? Or is the cybercab going to be the car? I don't know. There's a software platform and there's a car. There's two different things, and they're going to launch the software platform in June. They'll launch the car sometime later. We'll see. It's going to be a different ball game, different setup there. TRGP, Targa Resources, nice three-wave retrace, move down, bounce. That pushed the limits on that. Kind of sets up a new trend. I'd be very careful here. If we bounce off of this zone right here, if we pop it in there and turn down, this can go on another leg down very easily. And Celsius, I'm long this. I'm looking for a move to this area primarily. This did a bigger bounce back here on a higher, bigger time frame, which sets up the potential for this right here. This big move up and a retrace. Held that level right there. Sets up this bigger move, but we'll probably find resistance here, retrace, before we can come on up. I'm long shares and I have short puts. My short puts are 35. My longs are long from over here somewhere. And the market is back open. Futures are going again. Dun, 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 chewy. There you go. That's the path. Been on there for a couple weeks. Target right there. 42, 44, 46, 48. CSWC. Capital Southwest Corporation. That looks like a downtrend. Watch for resistance at the roadmap line and continuation lower. That would be my warning. Merck already did. ASTS just parked. It's kind of parked right here on the roadmap line. That would be what I expect. Just more of that. Stock at rest tends to stay at rest. That's what I expect on that one. And MSTR. You can say Apple's grossly overvalued if you want. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, but stock charts have nothing to do with overvalued or undervalued or overbought or oversold even. It has to do with the human psychology. If we can break out 617, it's like this, probably worth nothing. But we reject off that area, 195. Into the danger zone. Right there. If we bust through it, there's the target. 617, 688, 952, even up to 1,000. I am long this stock and the leverage. Charter. Pushing up through. You have those. You see these highs. We got to break through these highs. That series of what is now 4 highs. If we can break through it, 432, 447 upside right there. We reject off of it, back to the lows. AXON, same resistance, 614. Want to see it push through, 753 on the upside. Reset that. We did make a lower low. I thought we would go even lower, but we didn't. We stopped right at that gap up. So pushing through 755, 795, 915. I would expect, 75% of the time we reject here, 70% of the time we reject here, 35% of the time we get to here. So pick your poison. 75, 70, 35. That's the likelihood. 75% likely, 70% likely, 35% likely. That's how drastically it drops off from here to here. All right, made it to the bottom. I'm going to circle back, hit as many people as I can. I do have to go to my brother's birthday party here in a few minutes. So I will hit as many as I can, then I got to go. My littlest brother turning, shoot, man, how old is he? Let's see, what is this? 25. So I guess he's 41 this year. Today's not his actual birthday, but today is the day we can all get together. So LNG, upside target. I am long LNG. Right there, TMDX. Almost could leave that on the chart. Let's see what we got. We got a major. Let's see. Pull that. That went way down here. Hit the target. Didn't break through. Like the line in the sand is right down here. If we reject back down, get below that, we're going down to that lower target. There is a major resistance right here. Danger zone, and it lines up with the 618, just like the market. We get above that. Probably set the upside right here. If we reject it, watch for that. And if we get below that, coming down here. Same patterns over and over. And IBM. Yeah, the hardest part of this whole stock trading thing is the fact that the news doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter. Nothing matters. Like, it's just the chart patterns. It's the only thing that really matters. Well, I mean, if the company goes bankrupt, that matters. But, or if the CEO's caught with all the company's money in the back and 2 dead girls along with it, that probably matters. But something funny with the money, that matters. If your stock does something with the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, like phase 3 drug trials, something like that, that matters. But for the most part, it's just the price patterns. So we've got a significant resistance here. We reject that. We can go lower. This is only 3 waves up so far. If we can break it, 274, possibly 281 on the upside for IBM. CVGW. Sounds like a weed stock. Hello, growers. That's kind of choppy. Expect more of that. And snap. We talked about that at this lead. Support right there. Resistance up here. If we break support, coming on down. And Tesla already did. Have to roll down, pick up some more. BCE. Oh, in the zone. Imagine that. If we break the line, 26, we're going on down. And it's already drawn over here. There's the path. Support. Support. Take 2 interactive. On the way to the target. 243. ANET. And hit that target, hit that target. Potentially bouncing resistance at the roadmap line. That 618 doesn't look like it's in the right spot. I would be afraid we're going to see further downside. Maybe down to here. That would be a better spot for the 618. So watch out for a turn down in this vicinity and a bottom somewhere down here, if not down here. That, you know, what's the magic there? It just comes from looking at hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands, you know, thousands of charts. I looked at 40,000 charts last year, according to TradingView. You know, you get the Spotify end of the year thing, how many hours you listen, what music was your top. TradingView did the same thing for traders, and I looked at 40,000 charts, and that was a lot. And there's the high. Here's the low. There's the resistance. Right in here. Watch for that high. We get above it. There's the target. If we reject it, probably coming down here. Somewhere in there. I can draw it without putting the fib tools on because I've done it so many times so far. Right. Did not close above. Danger. That was not a close above the 618. It was a poke, but it was not a close. That's why I'm always, the conservative entry is a close above that 618. Close above 14. Sets up the upside. If we don't get the close, that's not an entry. It's going to still go lower. If that was it, that was the high. If we break that back down below the roadmap line, watch out for that move right there. That's SoFi. SGHC. That's a nice little bounce. Next move higher, $9. Now I caution low price stuff doesn't always follow the pattern. So things under $10, they fall into penny stock category and may or may not actually follow the pattern. So be careful. Starbucks, we already hit. That was in the opening. Got whacked a little bit on earnings. We're looking for that to hold the prior low. If we can hold it, go higher. If not, probably going back to target down here. And BJ's Warehouse. And we're climbing higher. 125. Next upside. Call. Call. Fingers on the right keys. Is that the call you want? Call it. I don't know which call you're looking for. It's not a US listed call. And I'm not playing guess the Canadian stock. KD. There's the move down. Resistance. Right where we are. There's a gap down right there. And that looks like it's in the right spot. So got kind of a danger zone that we need to clear. Right there. I'm just going to color it. That's just a regular resistance zone. And 46.78 on the upside. CMG. Chipotle Mexican Grill. Has the big potential to bounce from here. 110 upside potential. And next up, Shopify. Danger earnings coming up next week. Has the potential to bounce. Resistance zone right there. 141 upside right there. Airbnb coming up on Thursday earnings. That broke down. I'll be very careful here. Got this resistance here. If we could get through, there's potential that we can come up and retest this downtrend of highs right here. The scary thing is this comes back all the way over here. So that'll be that's a major resistance point right there. So we've got a big resistance point here, and if we can break through it, we still have to contend with that downtrend. And you can still reject and make another move down like that. So nothing really clear for Airbnb. Already did Rocket Lab, DVN, and support right down here at 23, resistance up here at 35. ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch, target is down here at 61. VG, we already hit. GRS. And that's a big downtrend. Still expect more downtrend. Support down around 18. Oracle. Support down here. Resistance up here. Roadmap line 618. Upside 212. But we got to get through all that stuff. And then we've got that extra little high in there where we had some gappy stuff going on. Mara is an open trade. Jump over to the other cleaner version. This has a move up, a retrace, move up, retrace. If, big if, we could break above the roadmap line. This has an upside potential. Up here in the triple digits. With the overlapping nature of this, I'm not sure we can do much more than that. Could go as high as like mid triple digits, but let's go low triple digits, right around 100. All right, next up, AEYE. Got to go back to their chart. Other chart layout, AEYE, A audio. That's a downtrend. First move down, retrace, and we haven't completed it yet. For that next move down here. Lower low still probably in the cards. Could it have bottomed? Sure. Is it likely? No. Pep has lots of fizz. NVO potentially bottomed. We touched the targets. Upside resistance all the way up here at 87. And we're sitting at 65. Nothing clear, and it could go on down to 43. ALB, Ammo Marble, still probably not done. 34 potential downside. MU, sitting here at the bottom, like we dipped down past the line I wanted to see hold. Pop back up into the resistance zone. I haven't changed anything. Still holding my MUU. Expect more sideways. We tried to break up before. We tried to break down here. Maybe rally back up here. We'll see what happens. Till something changes. More sideways chop on MU. ATLC. Upside potential. PayPal. So we've got resistance at the roadmap line here. Right in there. And we've got support down here at 42. 100 is the upside resistance above that. Dell. Potential to bounce, roadmap line 618. Same thing as a lot of charts on most of big tech. Marvel. I'm not sure this is done. Possibly it's done. If we break down below this, we're going down here in the 20s. So here's the line in the sand. Get below that, probably coming down here. If we could bounce roadmap line resistance, that big line coming across there, and then we could go on up to 140, 150, 160 area right up there. And TTD. And no sign we're done on this one either. That stepped across the line. Like PayPal, we could go down to 24. There's the 618. There's the roadmap line. Has potential to bounce here, but it stepped across the line. So maybe only up to 166 on the next run. And MRX. I set the target. Be careful. There's not enough candles to really do much historical price action here. This is a small retrace, 4-hour bounce. To turn that off. 4-hour bounce right in the targets. I wouldn't expect much more than 45. Could go to 52, but it's probably going to retrace. Retrace is higher likelihood than getting up here. Doesn't mean it won't, but TQQQ is QQQ leveraged. Apple, MSTR, already did. KMX, CarMax. It's just going sideways. Stuck. Got this support. We've had support for a couple of years. No trend. Trend is sideways. Just expect more of that. More sideways chop. Yeah, I talk about Tesla so much that there's no reason to talk more about it tonight. And Charter, already hit that one. And CSIQ, Canadian Solar. Is that the right one? Yep. Bounced off the roadmap line. This is a giant downtrend. Resistance. Last time we went lower. Be careful. Disney. Charlie Grace. Drinking sweet tea. Southern sweet tea. Man. So there's the risk. Like when we break down below that line, see what we did? Right down to the target. Didn't even wait. It just went down there. We did the target. Now let's see. What can we do? Well, that target's invalid now. Did we make a lower low? No, we did not. It's probably still going lower low. Probably still needs a dip below that. Right there. Resistance up here. Can rally all the way back up there and still come back down here. I like that. Nothing tells me that's done. In fact, that looks like it wants to go lower low. Be careful. AAPL. Sit at lows. That looks like it wants to go lower. Coin. Resistance is right there. And we may do a 618 retrace before we can try and break through it. Bigger 618 here. Prior high right up there. If we get through all of that, 480, 500, somewhere up in there. 470, 480, 500. Alrighty. That's it. Made it to the bottom. Thanks for coming, everybody. 30 people left on the list. On the show. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back live 9:15 tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll do it all over again. Hunt for what's moving, what's moving, and what's shaking in the market. Look for the gainers. Look for the decliners. Look for some setups. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.